like sharp minds. Brewed hot, sure bra. No sugar, no filter. Sip, think, repeat, repeat.
Okay, so you want to get right to the good stuff, right? We're all busy, and no one really has time to wade through all the noise to figure out what's actually important.
That's exactly it. And that's what we are going to do today.
Like a deep dive, huh?
Yeah, a deep dive into some pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, we'll look at 3 very different areas, but each of them has some pretty fascinating elements.
It's going to be a concentrated look at some important cultural and scientific happenings. We've done the work so you don't have to, and we think what we found is pretty interesting.
All right, so what's on tap today? Well, we're going to go right into the middle of the Fan Expo Denver 2024.
Okay, sounds fun.
Then we're going to switch gears and look at something a little different, the vice versa films.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, what they might tell us about ourselves. And then we're going to finish up by looking at how documentary series can shape how we as a society think about science and certain big issues.
Wow, that's a big menu.
Yeah, it is a lot to cover.
But each of those are pretty different windows into our world, and I think we found some pretty interesting stuff to share.
I think so too. So let's get started with Fan Expo Denver 2024. Imagine, if you will, being surrounded by a sea of fans packed into the Colorado Convention Center.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this is a massive event, and from what we've seen, it's like this giant beehive of pop culture.
It's huge. To give you an idea of the scale, this year's Fan Expo ran from June 13th to the 16th, so 4 solid days. The first 3 were 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Sunday was until 5.
Wow, that's a big commitment.
It is a major commitment for everyone who goes. Shows you how important these events are to people.
I think it's like a pilgrimage for the real fans. And the celebrity guest list this year was pretty impressive. You had Marina Baccarin.
From Deadpool.
Right. And then there was a real treat for the Charmed fans because they had Holly Marie Combs, Rose McGowan, and Shannon Doherty, all 3.
That's a trifecta.
And for anyone who loves The Office, they had Rainn Wilson there, too.
That's a fantastic lineup. Represents a pretty big chunk of pop culture.
Yeah, it really does. And there were even more big names.
Oh, yeah. Like who?
Like Marisa Tomei.
Oh, wow. Aunt May in the latest Spider-Man movies.
That's her. And then for fans of The Boys, they had Anthony Starr there, Homelander.
Oh, yeah. It's great.
And lastly, there was Lana Parrilla for Once Upon a Time fans.
So a big range then. Really shows the broad appeal these conventions have.
Yeah, for sure. You can really see how these events attract so many different types of fans. Gives them a chance to meet the actors and the people who make the stuff they love.
For sure.
And speaking of amazing things to see, there's the cosplay. Imagine like an explosion of creativity magnified 1,000 times. That's what the cosplay scene at Fan Expo is like.
Wow.
Yeah, the effort that people put into their costumes is unbelievable. I mean, you've got these incredibly detailed suits of armor, like they walked right off a movie set.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then you see someone with these huge but perfectly balanced wings. And of course, everywhere you look, there are these amazing, bright, colorful wigs.
Tells me a feast for the eyes.
It is. It's incredible artistry.
It makes you think about cosplay almost like performance art.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, these conventions are so big, and sometimes it's easy to feel anonymous in a big crowd. And at these events, people can be the characters they love.
I see what you're saying.
It's a way for people to explore their own identity, maybe. It connects to a lot of cultural trends we've been seeing about self-expression and how communities are built around things that people are passionate about.
Right. And it's not just about wearing a costume around.
Oh, really?
They have a cosplay red carpet.
Huh, interesting.
It's like a fashion show for all the great costumes. Gives the cosplayers a chance to show off their work.
I like it.
And then there's the competitions, too.
Oh, wow. So it's serious business then.
Oh, yeah. The competitions are serious. Cosplayers are judged on everything from how accurate their costume is to the technical skill it took to make it.
So it's like a real craft.
Exactly.
It really highlights how engaged the fan community is. It's not just people passively enjoying things. It's active creation, and it's celebrating that.
Right. And beyond the stars and the awesome costumes, there's also a whole program of panels and workshops you can go to.
Sounds interesting. What kind?
You've got industry legends talking about how comics have changed over the years and experts showing how they do FX makeup.
Cool.
And there are workshops where you can learn how to make costumes yourself. So if anyone wants to get more involved, there are a lot of chances to learn and meet other fans.
So it's not just spectacle then.
Yeah.
There's a real educational component to it. Fans can learn more about the stuff they're interested in.
Right. And for those who want something a little more active, there are video game tournaments. And for the anime fans, they have special meetups and screenings just for them.
Oh, wow.
It felt like every part of pop culture had its own space at the event.
That's pretty cool.
Hmm.
It seems like these events offer something for every kind of fan, not just photos and merchandise.
For sure. And the whole vibe of the event was buzzing. You could feel the excitement everywhere. Just imagine the noise. If there was a surprise announcement, the article we saw mentioned Keanu Reeves might be there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And even the rumor that he might show up shows you how much anticipation there is.
Yeah, I bet.
Even standing in line, you would overhear these passionate conversations between fans.
All bonding over their favorite shows or comic books.
Exactly.
That feeling of belonging is a big draw for a lot of people. A place where you can be yourself and not be judged.
That's true. And we can't forget the merchandise. It's everywhere.
Yeah, what kind of stuff?
Everything. Row after row of stands selling everything you can imagine. From these really rare figurines to exclusive art that you wouldn't find anywhere else. Walking through those aisles was like a treasure hunt. Always something new to discover.
Yeah, the merchandise is a big part of these events. But it's also a great way for artists and independent creators to connect with their fans directly.
That's true.
So it sounds like Fan Expo Denver 2024 was a huge success, a big celebration of pop culture.
I think it was. A lot of people will have lasting memories from it.
It does sound like a really exciting event. It's amazing how much passion there is out there, and these events are a great way to bring people together.
Okay, let's move on to something completely different. We're going to dive into the Vice Versa movies.
Okay, this should be good.
Vice Versa 2 is coming out June 17th, so it's a good time to look back at the first movie and think about why it was such a hit. It took us inside the mind of a young girl, Riley, as she was dealing with a big move. We met her 5 main emotions: joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust.
What I thought was so clever about the first film was how it made emotions seem real.
Yeah.
It gave us a way to understand our feelings. You know, our feelings can be really complicated sometimes.
Definitely. And in the sequel, Riley's a teenager.
Oh.
And as you might remember from your teenage years, that comes with a whole new wave of emotions.
Oh, yeah.
We're introduced to some new emotions like love and jealousy. The article we saw called Riley's Puberty, an explosive cocktail of feelings.
I think that's a good way to put it. The teenage years are a time of so many changes, emotionally and in the way you think. Makes sense that Riley's inner world would become more complicated.
It does. And what's so cool about these films is how they show us what each emotion does in our lives. You know, joy is focused on keeping Riley happy. Sadness is shown as important for empathy.
Oh, so being able to understand how other people feel.
Yeah, exactly. Fear's job is to protect her from danger. Anger is there to help her when things are unfair, and disgust keeps her from being poisoned.
That's pretty interesting. These films validate every emotion, even the ones we think of as bad.
Right.
It shows that every emotion has a purpose. They all help keep us healthy and happy.
It reminds me of Sigmund Freud and his ideas, particularly his idea about sublimation.
Oh, yeah.
For example, Riley takes her anger out on the hockey rink.
Ah, interesting.
She's turning all that energy into something that is good for her and something that society says is okay.
So it's like taking something that might be considered negative and turning it into something positive.
Right. And if you think about it from the point of view of Jean Piaget, Riley's emotional journey as a teenager really reflects how our thinking develops.
Also.
She starts out thinking about things in a simple way, but as she gets older, she starts to understand the world and her feelings in a more complex and nuanced way. The film shows that transition beautifully.
That makes sense. The changes in Riley's emotions reflect the changes that are happening in her brain. It really shows you how our thoughts and our feelings are connected.
Exactly. But even beyond all the psychology, the films have a really important message about mental health and how important it is to accept all of our emotions. Riley really struggles when she tries to hide her sadness.
I remember that.
It shows us that we need to express our emotions, even the ones that we think are bad. It's okay to not be okay all the time.
That's a good message for everyone. It's okay to feel sad sometimes. The film really challenges the idea that we always have to pretend to be happy.
Right. And Vice Versa 2 introduces new emotions like love and jealousy. It looks like it will dig even deeper into the complicated world of teenage emotions.
It's true. When you become a teenager, your relationships with other people get more complicated. I'm curious to see how the film shows those feelings.
Me too. One of the most important lessons from the first Vice Versa was that it's okay to feel different emotions at the same time. Riley learns that you can feel happy and sad at the same time, and that's just part of being human.
I like that.
Yeah, we try to label our feelings as good or bad, but in reality, our feelings are often much more complicated than that.
It's true. Having a mix of emotions at the same time is part of what makes us human. I think the film does a great job of showing that.
It does. And the film also shows how important it is to have people in your life who support you.
Yeah, when Riley finally tells her parents how she's feeling, it makes their relationship stronger.
Right. It's a reminder that talking about what you're going through is good for you, and it's good for your relationships, too.
It shows you don't have to go through tough times alone.
Exactly. When you really look at the vice versa movies, both the first one and the new one coming out, they're much more than just kids' movies. They're a great way to learn about our emotions and to talk about mental health in a way that everyone can understand.
Right.
It reminds us that all of our emotions are important and we need to accept them.
It's true. They're really good films that help you understand yourself and other people better.
All right, for our last topic today, we're going to look at something that a lot of people don't think about, but it has a big impact. We're going to look at the power of documentary series.
Okay, documentaries.
Yeah, they shape how we as a public think about science and important issues. And we've got some really good examples of how these films can make a real difference.
Documentaries show us how powerful storytelling can be, especially when it's based on facts.
It can change how people see the world, and it can even make things change in the real world. Think about an inconvenient truth. Before that documentary came out, most people didn't really know or think much about climate change.
Right, it was something you would only hear about from scientists.
Right. But Al Gore took that complicated science and he made it into something that everyone could understand. And he showed why it was so important for everyone to take action.
Yeah, it wasn't just a science lesson.
No, it wasn't. It made millions of people see how urgent the climate crisis was. It sparked a lot of debate and it inspired a lot of the actions that people have taken to try and stop climate change.
Yeah, and it did that in a way that scientific papers often don't.
Right. It made climate change feel real and personal to a lot of people.
It's interesting how documentaries use stories and powerful images to get people's attention. It helps information connect with people in a way that traditional science communication often can't.
That's a good point. And then you have Blackfish, which is a really good example of a film that really changed how people thought about something and led to real change. It showed the horrible conditions that orcas were living in at SeaWorld. And once people saw that, things changed.
What kind of changes?
Fewer people went to SeaWorld. People started making laws to make things better for captive animals, and eventually SeaWorld said they would stop breeding orcas.
So Blackfish didn't just change how people thought, it actually led to real action.
It did. Then on the science side, there are series like Cosmos, a space-time odyssey with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
I've seen that.
They do a great job at making science interesting and easy to understand for a lot of people. They use great visuals and clear explanations.
Yeah, it takes topics like astronomy and physics and makes them easy to understand.
Right. It's more than just a science lesson, though.
Oh, yeah.
It encourages you to think about the universe and where we fit in. It makes people curious about science, and it might even inspire some people to become scientists or engineers.
It's true. Those kinds of documentaries are really important because they teach people about science and they get the next generation excited about science.
Absolutely. And documentaries also help us deal with all the information out there, and they help us fight against misinformation.
That's really important today.
It is. And a good example of this is The Social Dilemma. It had interviews with people who used to work at big tech companies, and they explained how social media uses algorithms to manipulate people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and how those algorithms help spread conspiracy theories and other bad stuff.
That's scary.
It is. It really made people think about how they use social media, and it started discussions about maybe needing more rules for tech companies and better ways to protect our data.
It makes you think about all the information we're exposed to all the time.
Right.
And how quickly bad information can spread.
Right. Documentaries like this make us stop and think about the information we see and the technology we use.
They make you think critically.
They do. And they can also influence our laws and social movements.
Oh, really?
Take the film 13th by Ava DuVernay. It looked at how the 13th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution has led to mass incarceration of African Americans. It really got people talking about criminal justice reform, and it helped push for changes to the laws.
So it helped bring about real change.
It did. Documentaries can shine a light on important social issues, and they give a voice to people who are often ignored.
That's so important. By showing these complicated problems to a lot of people, and by telling real stories, documentaries can get people to support change.
Exactly. And last but not least, documentaries and even movies based on real events can change how people think about stereotypes.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like gender stereotypes and racial stereotypes in science. Think about Hidden Figures. It's a fictionalized story, but it's based on true events.
I love that movie.
It really showed how important the work of African-American women was to NASA during the space race.
It's true. Their work was essential.
And it inspired a lot of young girls to consider careers in science and tech, especially girls of color.
It shows you the power of representation.
Exactly. Seeing yourself reflected in media, especially in fields where you might not traditionally see yourself represented, can be really powerful. It breaks down barriers and encourages diversity.
It's true. It makes you realize that anyone can do anything.
Right. So when you look at all this, you see that documentaries are really important for change in our world.
It's true. They teach people, challenge how we think, and inspire action. They really affect how we see and interact with the world.
Yeah, they do. So that's our deep dive for today. We went through Fan Expo Denver, then looked at the vice versa movies, and finished with the impact of documentary series.
Quite the variety of topics, but they all connect in a way. They show us how our perspectives are formed.
They do. So here's something to think about. How do all these cultural and media experiences that seem so different actually shape how you see the world? You've got the energy of a fan convention, the feelings of an animated film, and then the serious topics of a documentary.
It makes you think about how we learn and how we connect with ideas and how we can change our minds about the world.
It does. It's good to remember that we need to be curious and we need to think critically about the world around us. And sometimes those moments when we're just having fun, like at a convention or watching a movie, can be really powerful and make us think about things in a new way.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
It shows that learning and change can come from anywhere.
Exactly.
Cappuccino white crock, mine's brewed hot, served raw. No sugar, no filter. Sip, think, repeat.